Hello, good evening and namaste everybody. Ji Manisha ji, namaste, welcome.
Namaste, Priya. And we welcome all the participants. And namaste to Arjun, namaste Priyaji, Shashikanji, namaste.
Namaste, Didi.
नमस्ते दीदी.
Namaste, Bhaiya. And namaste to all the participants. जी. We can see many students who join us a little early.
Namaste, namaste to all.
Namaste, Arjun. So maybe Arjun, whatever we started on the last turn, we'll take that ahead.
Yeah.
Nice. So in case the students remember and would like to put forward their self-exploration or whatever they thought about, one can just unmute and are there some new students today? Maybe one can raise hand. Ji.
So good evening, everyone. Last time we had talked about, we had made a list about our aspirations and concerns and all that, like we were doing that exercise, right? Remember? And we thought you can do this at home. Each one of you can do this from home. So today we just want to see why we did that and what we can conclude out of that information which we got last time. So we had this list. We made this list of aspirations, concerns, and achievements. And last time, this is what came out of it. This is what you guys had in mind, which you expressed last time. And this is a collection of a lot of people's different aspirations, achievements, and concerns. So when you do this exercise for yourself, then you come to know what is actually going on inside your set of, like, what is your set of aspirations, what is your what do you think are achievements for yourself, and what are the concerns that are bothering you. So hope you did that exercise, and even if not, it can help you to figure out and to churn out some useful information as we go ahead. So would anyone like to share anything about this exercise? Like, you don't have to share exactly what you came up with, but if this had any impact on what you're thinking about and what you want to do in the future, or any kind of ideas which you got after doing this exercise, you can just share that. If you want, you can like raise your hand and we can see.
Sorry to interrupt.
Kaushik Chatterjee, please go ahead.
Yes. Actually, what happened, the chart that Arjun sir have prepared, that still I have not able to prepare. I think, but good effort, sir, from my side.
I didn't get you. Like, you weren't able to make it, or you didn't Like what happened?
I have not even actually. My intention is the chart that you prepare. That is good effort from Chabis. That your aspiration, achievement, and concern that you have listed.
Yeah.
But the language somehow I'm not getting somehow correct. It is from it is heart touching all matters. Thank you.
I still didn't understand actually. Like, precise what it's not touching or where you had a difficulty. Then we can discuss.
Good. I every day listen, but every day I conclude or myself. Every day I improve myself.
Okay.
The chart is another intention that will motivate towards my thinking too much centralized way.
Okay.
This is my talk. Okay.
Okay. So maybe we'll, as we go ahead, it'll be clear about what we can do by knowing this, like what we can do after gathering this information. Because just having this chart doesn't really help us, right? It just maybe reminds us that we wanted to do these things, and maybe we did some of them, maybe we didn't do some of them. But this is kind of going to be the basis for what we do further. So it's not like a to-do list or something like that, which we want to just say that you could do this. It's
No,
a
no,
little deeper
no.
than that.
It is yes, exactly. It is a kind of self. It is a kind of self explanation. Excellent from my side. Excellent,
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. We
excellent.
don't have to
Everyone.
make a conclusion yet why we did it. We'll go ahead, and as we go, it'll be
Yes.
clearer.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So the exercise is just
Okay.
to do this so far. Maybe um, if you've done it, it helps yourself. If you haven't done it, also it's fine. You can be a part of the conversation, and whenever you feel like doing it, you can always do it. There's no compulsion. So after all this, we've seen that we have various aspirations, we have various concerns, and all that, right? So the question here is, first question that we want to ask is that we want to check if you're making effort to fulfill your aspirations or to resolve your concerns, or for both, or for something else. So where are you largely putting in your efforts? Like suppose you have a lot of concerns, then you might be spending a lot of your efforts in trying to resolve those concerns or those confusions or those things which are bothering you. And suppose you feel like your aspirations takes priority, then you may be spending more of your efforts to try to fulfill those aspirations, and the concerns become secondary, and you still have those concerns, but then you're not really too bothered by them. So therefore maybe you just leave them without trying to make effort to resolve them, right? So it could be various things, or it could be something else also, that you're making effort for something else. So here we just want to know which one you're making more effort towards. Like say you must be having that list for yourself, right? That you have some aspirations, you have some achievements which you feel are achievements for you, you have some concerns which you feel are bothering you, right? So where are you making your effort in your day-to-day life? Like where are you putting in effort, the maximum effort maybe, or how are you splitting your effort into these three, four areas?
Arjun, there is a hand raised. Jamshila has raised hands.
Yeah, let's talk. Jamshila, you can speak. Are you there? Are you going?
You can unmute, beta, Jamshila. If we are able to reach you, you've raised your hand as well.
In the chat, it says I can't unmute due to technical problems.
I mean, I just sent a message across to unmute, maybe because of that. Maybe you can express yourself in the chat. We'll be able to read it out from there if possible. Will that be fine, Arjun?
Yeah, but I think this will be solved, right? Maybe if it's not, then we'll do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you have to switch on your mic. I think it's on from here, but I think you have to just unmute your mic, I think, on your side.
The audio connectivity of your laptop or instrument. Sharad, you can just unmute. Yes. Sharad, you please unmute.
Yes. Now the dialogue box has to unmute. Hello. Good evening, madam. Hello. Hello.
Arjun, are you able to hear?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Nice.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello. We are for myself. I am making more effort for expecting some monetary benefits maximum.
Okay. I mean, like when you're
but-
saying that you're expecting, then just expecting is not really putting in effort, right? So you're making some effort for the monetary thing you're saying, right?
Yes, monetary and to reduce the future security.
Okay, so
Financial security.
that is one of your aspirations, which is to have that monetary
Monetary
yeah.
maximum. What I
Yeah.
think now, right? Because the question comes just 5. I am thinking on this matter just now 10 minutes before when you have shown the slide. Then before, up till now in life, I have not think why I am making efforts.
Okay.
It was not so clear.
Okay.
But what I think, it is for monetary maximum.
Okay.
And in some cases to reduce the concern of future or
Okay. So you're making like when you're saying monetary, it's to have some what you might call financial freedom or something where
financial freedom.
yeah, or something where you want to earn money so that you can support yourself or your family or something like that.
Yes, presently.
So that might be your aspiration
Yes.
right now, and your concerns might be that there's some fear about the future or something like that, right?
Yes,
If you
it
don't
was.
have enough, then what happens?
What I have think in this 10 minute, but the question is so deep that we need at least 1 hour full concentration to think on that matter. Why we are making lot of efforts. Question
Okay.
is very big. Actually, the question is very big. Why we are making efforts?
Yeah, so these are questions which you can explore after the session also.
Yes.
We're just putting it forward now, and then you can always keep thinking about these things, and you'll get more clarity about why you're doing what you're doing. So that makes you channelize your efforts also better.
Yes. It's this question is very helpful to channelize ourselves. There are and actually life it may happen that we are making effort for without any purpose also. Then after that we realize that it is not useful for me and I have wasted my time and efforts. It is also happen in my life sometime.
At that time also, if we really look at ourselves, then we feel like we are making effort for something, but then it's true that we might not be aware of why we're making that effort, and
Huh.
we might not have a clarity about what
Huh.
that's leading to.
Yes, it is lack of clarity. Without clarity we are making sometime efforts.
Yeah, true.
Yes, it is also true, sir, what you say.
So some of the efforts are for something else which you don't even know because
Yes.
you're not aware of those things that you're making effort for.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is also happen.
Yeah, that happens also. So that's a good point which has been brought up. And now maybe we'll ask some other people also. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, and we'll ask some other people also.
Okay, sir.
Who else wants to talk about this? There are some hands raised. You can just unmute your mic and you can go ahead. You just have to unmute on your device and you can speak. Would anyone else like to share any comment or any question about this so far? I hope the question is clear, like what you're making efforts for. We saw this list of all these things. So now we are just trying to connect this with our efforts. So there are some hands raised. You can go ahead. Whoever's raising your hand, you can just unmute your mic and you can start speaking.
Sir, this is Sharad. Can you show the first slide, which is written by pen or sometime?
This one.
Yes.
This is a collection of all your inputs from last time. Did you join last time?
No, I have not joined.
Okay. So this
Okay.
question was asked last time, and
Mhm.
we were just taking different things that people are saying out of the audience, and then audience
Okay.
as in whoever's attending. So
Okay. This is my first time with you.
okay.
Okay, sir.
So anyone else? If you've done this exercise, you might have already gotten some conclusions out of it, or some insight might have come to you. So anyway, if there's no question or comment so far, we'll go ahead. So we just want to look at where we're making efforts. So for example, if you say that your aspiration is to get a job, then you look at what effort you need to make for that. So maybe you have to do well in school and college, so you have to study for that, and so on, so on. Like you have some efforts which you have to make so that you get to that result of what you want, right? Your aspiration, to fulfill your aspiration. So these are just some examples, just to give you a feel for what we're looking for in this, what we're trying to convey. Slowly we'll unfold it. But basically, like, can we see that we're putting in efforts, and a lot of efforts actually, for fulfilling our aspirations and also for resolving our concerns? If our concerns is are like if our concerns are bigger than our aspirations, then we end up putting in more effort towards that. Or if we feel that those are more important at that point of time, then we put in more effort towards resolving the concerns. And on the other hand, if we feel that our aspirations are more important to be fulfilled at that particular point of time, then we just make more of our efforts towards that. We spend more time on that, right? What do you think?
Sir, when we are conducting induction program in our college, I am actually studying this for the last 3 years. I am taking. Hello, is my voice audible, sir?
Yeah.
So when we are asking the students to write their aspirations and then concerns, they have written and it is working out very well, sir. It is the first step we are doing now, sir. First slide we are telling about aspirations and concerns. They are taking steps or how to solve the problems. They are coming with a list of aspirations and it is very nice, sir. Sometimes we are not following up the steps we are taking. That is what we are going back and again we have to come. So there we need some continuity. That's all, sir.
Okay. Would anyone else like to share? Not about, not the teachers at this point right now, because we are, the teachers workshop is happening in parallel at another place. So this one is actually for the students. So, okay, so anyway, like we want to ask why you're making these efforts. What do you think? This is an important question, right? You can see that you're making a lot of effort, but our next question is, why are you making this effort? Like, what's the point of all this?
Maybe some of the students will put their opinion as to why are they making all this effort.
Yeah, maybe you can write in the chat if you're not
Comfortable
able
with that.
you're not
Maybe
able to,
sometime.
yeah, if you're not able to unmute, but I think you can unmute because from here it's all unmuted. You just have to, on your device, you just have to unmute. That's all.
Hi, sir.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir. In my college, when I joined, there was a lot of issue towards ragging, and now with my help and we are trying to change what students think about ranking. Because to me, that was a big problem, and now we are trying our best to change that. And I can say that that's the reason I'm making an effort to not, for my juniors to not go through what I went through. And I'm very happy with the results now. Teachers also helped very much during that period.
Okay, so let's look at this a little bit broadly. That you're making some effort towards this anti-ragging kind of a thing, right?
Yes.
So now the question is, why are you making this effort?
Because when I came, I went through a lot of things, and I don't wish anyone else to go through those.
Okay.
Basically,
So yeah, go ahead.
now basically what students needed to do, that they should just speak up, but they were not in a position to do so. So now we told them that you can speak up and you can act against it. So now I think till an extent solved. And I think if every college did something like that, that would help everybody.
Okay, very nice. So here we want to go again one more question deeper, that you're saying that you did this because you suffered from this problem when you were in your juniors, I mean, like in your first year or something. So
Yes.
So you were not happy with that, right? With that situation that was there, with that kind of a ragging, right? Obviously, you were not happy with it.
Yes, sir. No, I wasn't
Yeah.
happy with that.
Yeah. So the point we're trying to make is that, okay, you're not happy with it. So you're doing something which makes you happy, and you're trying to do something which makes the other person also happy, right?
Yes.
So if you go deeper and deeper, then if you ask this question, that why are you making this effort, then maybe you could say that because you want to make yourself happy and the other happy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this way, we want to just see why we're making efforts and try to link it with the root of the whole thing. Like what's at the root? That's what we're trying to see. So let's talk to some more people also and see. And good that you shared this. Let's move to someone else now. Anyone else? Whatever efforts you're making, it doesn't matter what effort, I mean, what aspiration you have or what concern you have. You're obviously making some or the other effort in your life, right? You're doing something or the other. So the question is just, why are you making this effort? Like suppose it's about your things that were written over here, some of these things: good marks, job with good package, human values, society, make parents proud, care for parents, support family, be happy, fulfill dreams, be a good human being. This is what we gathered from last time, right? This was some of the things. So let's see why those efforts are being made. It could be for various reasons, but let's just go through some of them, some of the possibilities. So one possibility is that it could be to become something in your career, right? Like a engineer, a doctor. You might be studying to become an engineer, or to become a doctor, or a farmer, or an artist, or any of these things, right? Like you're studying engineering right now, right? To become an engineer. So this could be one kind of effort that you're putting in so that you can become something in the future. It could be to do something, right? Like if you look at you're becoming an engineer, then you're becoming an engineer to do something, right? To build bridges, or to fix certain problems in the society, or to, apart from earning money, which is a thing which comes to you as a what do you call, as a salary. Apart from that, you're solving some problem in the world also, or you're helping to facilitate something, right? You're doing something. Like if you're building a bridge, it is so that people can get from one point to the other point. Or if you're growing nutritious food, if you're doing engineering so that you can do research, and that research helps you to find out new methods of organic farming or something like that, then you're doing something with that skill. So once you're becoming something, then you're doing something also with that, right? It's not that you just finish learning how to become an engineer, then you become an engineer and then you don't do anything, right? You obviously you do something once you have that job. If you become a doctor, then you are trying to keep people healthy, or you're trying to fix people's health problems, that kind of stuff. If you become a teacher, then you're trying to help the next generation to try to understand certain subjects, certain things, right? So you're making some efforts in this line also to become something, which is also, once you become something, then you want to do something with that also. And then you might want to get something for yourself also. Like it's not just that if you just do this, you might not be satisfied with it, because you also want to have something for yourself, like in terms of these things, either money or name or respect or acceptance, or like you have some expectation which comes back also, right? Like if you decide to be an engineer and do all this work, and then they say that they won't pay you, but you just do the work, then if you're really interested in that project, you might do it for some time, but then you won't be able to sustain that as a job, right? Because you also need something in terms of physical benefits or physical facilities. What do you think? And then now the question is that after all this, what do you get after all this? Like suppose you became an engineer, you became a doctor, you made some progress in that field, you did some work. I mean, like you've done something useful for people in that field, and you also got yourself a good amount of money and fame and, you know, respect from outside and all that. Suppose you got all that. Then the question is that why did you do all that finally? Here we want to have a lot of kind of people's opinions about this. That after all this, if you ask yourself why you're doing all this, then what would the answer be? Like, why do you want to become an engineer? Why do you want to do these things? Why do you want to keep people healthy? Why do you want to earn money? Why do you want to be accepted in the society? If I ask you all these things, then what's the root of all this? I mean, like, why do you want to do all this stuff? So here we'll open it to anyone can talk. We want to know now what you think about it. Why do you want to do all this? Why are you making all this effort? Even in school, you must have been studying to get get into engineering, to get a job, and then you're at the stage right now where you're studying for your engineering course is going on right now. So you're in that process of going to the next step of getting your job and doing something in the society and all that. So our question is that you know that you're doing so many things, you know that you're studying, you know that you're trying to go to the next step of whatever you want to do. But why are you making all these efforts? What's the purpose of making all these efforts? If you look forward also, you can see that, okay, you became something, you did something, you got this. Now what? Eventually, why did you do it? So any answers here? Anyone who wants to, you can either write in the chat or you can, if you can speak, it's better because then we can actually hear you.
So I think for was satisfied life. Right?
Okay. And what happens when you're satisfied in life? Suppose you became satisfied in life, then what feeling comes out of that? Like, what happens next?
Happiness.
Happiness. Okay. Let's see if we can, yeah, what else? Happiness. Okay. Would anyone else like to share what the end result comes after all this? Or what you're expecting the end result to be?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
When we are become an engineer, we will ready to make buildings and all others. Then the name and respect all are getting through our this profession. After all, we are trying to make happiness in ourselves and other selves. Others like Larry Becker or E. Sridharan. It is good for society and ourselves.
Okay. So finally, you want to be happy and prosperous, right? Is that something which we want to get out of? I mean, like after getting all this name and fame and respect and all that, finally we want to be happy, right?
Yes, sir.
So does this look like the conclusion or the kind of thing that we're all looking for after all this? Or do some people want to be unhappy? We're not asking if you are happy or unhappy. We're just asking that after all this, is it with the expectation of getting of being happy? You're becoming some, you're doing some profession, you're getting something out of it, but then finally you want to be happy, right?
Yes. Hello.
Or is there something else to it? If there's something else also you can share. If there's some
Hello?
other motivation behind doing all these things.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. नमस्कार भैया.
Hello. Yeah, we can hear
नमस्कार
you.
भैया.
Namaskar.
भैया
नमस्कार.
हैप्पी तो सभी रहना चाहते हैं, खुश तो सभी रहना चाहते हैं, लेकिन इतना ज्यादा हम लोग इस आर्टिफिशियल बन गए हैं कि एफर्ट करने के लिए भी अब एफर्ट लगने लगे हैं, तो ये भी एक कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस में बन गया है. इन सब से ये जो हम कोर्स कर रहे हैं, इससे ये भी हमें सीखने मिला है कि एफर्ट जो है वो एक बार करने से नहीं होगा. इट्स अ कंटिन्यूअस प्रोसेस, और उसी से जो भी बेटरमेंट हम फाइनली चाहते हैं, जो हैप्पीनेस की हम बात करते हैं, जिन वैल्यूज की बात करते हैं, उसको अचीव करने के लिए भी कंटिन्यूअस एफर्ट्स लगाते रहना, कंटिन्यूअस एफर्ट्स पुट करते ही रहना.
हाँ, वैसे भी हम लोग एफर्ट्स तो वैसे भी कंटिन्यूअस लगा ही रहे हैं, बट अपनी दिशा बदल जा रही है ना अभी.
हाँ जी, वो
तो
एक ट्रैक पे रहने के लिए भी चाहिए. जी सर, एक ट्रैक पे रहने के लिए भी कंटिन्यूअस एफर्ट्स की कंटिन्यूअस जरूरत पड़ती ही जा रही है भैया.
हाँ, वो तो है. जैसे सपोज आपको कहीं चल के भी जाना है, सपोज और आपको अगर पता है कि दूसरी जगह कहाँ है और कैसे जाना है, तो फिर जाना तो पड़ेगा वैसे भी। अगर वहां पहुंचना है तो वहां जाने के लिए कोई एफर्ट तो लगेगा ना वहां जाने के लिए। लेकिन अगर पता ही नहीं है कि कहाँ जाना है, तो फिर एफर्ट जो भी लगाते रहते हैं वो एफर्ट करते रहते हैं, लेकिन फिर कोई
फ्रूटफुल नहीं हो
पहुंचते नहीं है कहीं पे। हाँ, कहीं पहुंचते नहीं है, बिकॉज वो लगता है कि और कहीं पहुंचना है और पता ही नहीं है ना कि कहाँ पहुंचना है।
हाँ जी भैया, एक हमें डायरेक्शन मिल गया है, एक डायरेक्शन, एक मोटो मिला हुआ है कि यस वी कैन, so definitely we are also trying to put our maximum efforts. I hope भैया कि हम लोग भी एक बेटर इंसान बन पाएंगे।
हाँ हाँ, तो अभी इसके ऊपर फिर से और थोड़ी बात करते हैं कि what we want actually after all this, like why we want to do all this. So if we see ये पूरा अगर देखें तो what is your goal or what is your basic aspiration? We've seen that we all have certain aspirations, and those aspirations differ from person to person. Like we saw here when we made this list, that everyone may not have the same aspirations. One person may have an aspiration to make the parents proud. Another person might have an aspiration to get a job with a good package. Another person might have an aspiration to fulfill their dreams, right? And so on. So everyone may not have the same set of aspirations. Somebody might want to become a musician, somebody might want to become an engineer, right? So their aspiration might not be the same. Achievements also may not be the same, and their concerns or what bothers them also may not be the same. But if we look at this part of being happy and prosperous, then our question is that, is this the same for everyone? Or is this something which differs from person to person, just like everything else that we discussed? Is it that some people want to be happy, some people don't want to be happy? Is it that some people want to be prosperous, some people don't want to be prosperous? So in the chat, there are some responses, but you can also speak on the mic. That way everyone can hear. So in the chat, one response is that all efforts are mainly to make yourself happy, and if you're happy, then you can make everyone happy. So let's explore this whole thing. Now, when we're saying we want to get this money or fame or respect or any of these things from someone or from outside, from somewhere, and when we're saying that we want to do something, like we want to do some research, or we want to build something, we want to make some new cell phone, or we want to do something with our engineering skills, and when we're saying that we want to become something like an engineer, when we're looking at all these four things, then which one is your goal, or what do you think is your goal out of all these? Is your goal to become an engineer, or is your goal to build a certain kind of technology, or is your goal to get money or fame or any of these things, or is your goal to be happy? What do you think? Anyone wants to share their view on this? Like, what do you think your goal would be out of all these?
Sir,
Yeah.
my goal is to make my life more happier as long as I can.
Okay.
Can I set this a goal?
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're trying to put across also, that maybe these other things might be steps towards your goal, right?
Okay.
Maybe becoming an engineer and building some technology and getting some money and all that might be certain steps that are helping you to get to your goal, or at least that could be your assumption, right? It could be an assumption that once I get all these things, then I could be happy, and therefore I'm
Yes,
doing
sir.
these things. So we can say that our happiness is our basic aspiration, right? That it's something basic for all of us, which we all want, right? What do you think? If this is your basic aspiration, then all these other things which we have seen, where we're making efforts, we can call these steps, or we can call these pathways to reach the goal, right? Any comments? Yeah, any comments on this? Like, can we see this?
Yes, sir. Sharad speaking here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our basic, what here written is very important. Uh, we are learning, or we are making effort. These are not our final goal. To earn money is also not our final goal, or to get famous, or to get publicity or acceptance. These are all not our final goal, but these are way to meet the happiness, to get the happiness and prosperous. What I think, sir.
Yeah, and even that also, it might be an assumption for us, right?
Sound is cracking, sir.
Okay. Now is it okay?
Yes, now it is okay.
Okay, so I was saying that even the fact that these are steps to reach the goal also,
Yes.
even that also is not 100% clear for us, right? That once we get these three things, then will we be able to be happy? That's
Yes.
also not completely sure for us, right? We are just assuming that once we get these things, then it will make us feel happy.
Yes, yes, you are right, sir. These
And
are all media.
since we may not have, yeah. So one more point which I'm saying is that after all this also, we're not 100% sure that it will make us happy, but we feel that it might make us happy, and therefore we're doing it, right?
Yes, sure, sir.
Yeah. So if our basic aspiration is to be happy, then what would you do to be happy? Would you need to go this route, or are we missing something? Like, suppose our favorite pathway got closed. Suppose we wanted to become an engineer and we didn't get a seat anywhere in any of the colleges. Or suppose we wanted to become a doctor and we didn't get a seat, so we became an engineer. So then what happens? If our goal is happiness and prosperity, then there might be various paths to reach that goal, right? So if one of those paths closed also, then there are numerous paths which we can still follow. But if we feel that our goal was to become a doctor and we didn't become a doctor, then we feel like our whole life is wasted because we didn't get to what we wanted, and we thought that only being a doctor can make me happy. So, like that, what we're saying is there can be numerous ways, pathways to get to that goal of happiness. And we haven't explored them actually. We haven't explored all these pathways, and we're just assuming that what pathway we have in our mind is the way to become happy. Even that pathway, we are not sure because we haven't traveled on that path till the end. Like, we don't even know where the end point of that path is. But we are still feeling that this will lead to happiness, and everyone else in the society is doing it, so it must be having some significance and it must be leading to happiness. So we have a strong assumption also about that. But anyway, the point over here is that suppose your favorite pathway got closed, then would you be unhappy and depressed about it? Or would you find an alternate pathway? And this is possible. You can find an alternate pathway only if you're clear about your goal. If your goal is happiness, then there can be so many ways in which you can get that happiness, not get to be happy, basically. So you're not trying to get something from somewhere, you're trying to be happy. So this can be a little bit hard to see in the beginning because it might look like you're so kind of interested in that particular profession or that particular thing. You're so interested in doing a certain thing in the society, but then if that door got closed, then does it close your happiness? Does it close your ability to be happy? Or can you find an alternate pathway to be happy? This is something which may take time to sink in, and you can just ask yourself these questions again and again so that we really see what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what really this happiness is. So this is just an example here that I wanted to go to the US for my degree, but I was forced to take admission here, and my dreams are shattered because I didn't get the branch of my choice, and so on. So these are all very small things in comparison with the goal of being happy. If you look broadly and see that our goal is to be happy, that's what we want eventually after doing all this effort. We want to just be happy, finally. Nothing else, right? We don't want anything else. We just want to be happy and comfortable, physically comfortable, which we're calling prosperous, which we'll cover in a little more detail about what these terms also mean, what happiness means and what prosperity means. But basically, you can see, right, that if you want to be happy, there can be various ways to go about it and various ways to become happy. And by become happy, we're not saying for a few instants, we're saying continuously. So, any comments on this so far? Any would anyone like to share their point of view also?
Students, you can speak. There are many students. Please speak. Then only it will be interactive.
Yeah, because actually in this also, this could be a little bit kind of difficult to get
the answer,
at this
no?
point. Yeah, because we're kind of very conditioned to believe something, and if something is said which is going against those beliefs, then it suddenly feels like it's hard to digest, kind of, so
They can put in the chat box also if anything is
easier to go ahead into what we're trying to get to finally. So in the chat, there are some responses.
There are some responses in the chat.
Yeah.
Opinion, since our favorite pathway is closed, I believe that there is also another pathway. So I think we shouldn't feel like shattered or depressed.
It is not audible, Harshad. You mean that there is an, can you tell once more? You are not audible.
Sir, am I audible now?
Now you're audible. Please speak.
In my opinion, I believe that if our favorite pathway is any one of our favorite pathway is closed, there should be another alternate pathway.
Yeah, and there will be also, right? Because these are just some kinds of steps. Like suppose you didn't get a job in some company, XYZ company, then obviously there are a lot of other places where you can apply and you can get it. So these things shouldn't really throw us off that much, because they're not going to really cause any major issue for us. They're just some kinds of roads to take. Like if I have to go from here to Delhi, I can go by different methods. I can use different roads to reach there, right?
Sir?
So if one road is blocked, then I can go by the other road. So
yes, of course.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, in my opinion, try to solve or try to get an answer for who I am. The lack of self-awareness is more depressed. It's getting more depressed, or it is a reason for unhappiness or depression.
Okay.
Or else.
So let's look at it in one more way, that you want to know who you are, right? You want to, is that the thing, that you want to know more about yourself, why you're here? Or
Yes. Yes, there are no
so why do
close.
Okay, so why do you want to know that? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm just asking that, okay, you want to know who you are, why you're here, that kind of stuff. So why do you want to know all that?
It's more help to realize our potential, our own potential.
Okay, suppose you realized your potential, then what happens after that?
It will boost for the second chance and many other chances for chances in our society, in our world. There are no closed doors to us. One door will be closed, the other will be open.
Yeah, but I'm just asking what happens eventually by doing all that? Like, why would you have the motivation to do that? What do you want to, why do you want to do that?
Sir?
Why do you want to do that is the question. Like in the chat also, it's written that I want to achieve peace and calmness. So why do you want to achieve peace and calmness?
Sir, isn't that we all want in life peace and calmness?
Let's see, like, what do you mean by peace and calmness?
To do what we love, that would give us peace and calmness. I do believe that.
And what if you don't get to do what you love? Suppose one of those pathways got blocked.
It's really hard to understand what I would do at that position. But that's only one way. Just find something else to do, or try to get around that block that's in your front. But to deal with that situation is really hard.
Okay, yeah, it can be hard. So suppose you have to deal with a situation which you don't like, then you can either like get completely depressed about it, or you can find an alternate way around it, or you can fix the situation so that you get what you want also, and you are happily doing that also. So you have options, but then you just have to see what you can do about it. Like suppose you didn't get, suppose you take this example that you wanted to go to the US, but you weren't able to go for some reason. So one option is that you don't go and you do the things here, and in that way you didn't get exactly what you wanted, but you still get some alternate which might be acceptable to you, might not be. Another option is that you just find some method to go, like you collect some funds from somewhere, you're able to go and you're able to do your thing. And another option is that you are able to make your parents feel happy also with your decision, and you're still able to do some part-time job and you're still able to work there and do all that, and you get your degree over there. So in that way you got what you wanted also, and in the family also you didn't disturb anything, there's harmony there also, and you got your favorite pathway also. So that could be something which might be ideal for you. But another possibility is also that you have certain reasons why you could not go. You have certain reasons that wasn't possible for you. So then you can still either be unhappy or get depressed about it, or you can find an alternate pathway. And when we're saying alternate pathway, we're saying alternate pathway to reach this goal of happiness and prosperity. So if getting a degree is one of the steps involved, which you think is going to help you to become happy, then you can find another way to get a degree from somewhere else, or you can do something else so that you can still have that goal of happiness. You can still be happy and prosperous. So that's what we're just trying to say. And when we're saying that we want to even find out more about ourselves or why we're here and that kind of stuff, then that also is to get clarity. And why we want that clarity is so that we can be happy. And what you're saying by peace and calmness, also someone else had written in the chat that like you want to be peaceful and calm. So eventually you want to be happy, peaceful, calm, all this together, right? You want to be able to feel good about yourself, about others, and able to also do something for yourself and for others, which helps yourself, which helps others.
Arjun, there's a question in the chat
So,
box.
Yeah.
I don't know how to solve any problem. I am unhappy. One student has written.
Okay. Okay. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Maybe we can get more clarity on that, then we can see.
She's written, I don't know how to solve any problem. I'm unhappy. Whatever problems is coming, she's not able to solve it. So it makes her unhappy then.
Okay. So there also you have the option to be unhappy or to try to find a solution. And suppose you're able to find a solution, then you might have to put effort so that that solution actually happens, right? You might have to put a lot of effort also. So while you're putting in that effort, then you don't have to be unhappy because you know that you got a solution, right? Suppose you didn't get a solution, then what do? Then you would have to accept that situation, or accept that that is part of the way things are. Because if you don't accept that and you don't have a solution, then what else could you do? You can't do anything else, right? You could either accept that situation because you don't know how to fix it, or you can find a solution for it and make effort towards it and then fix it. You have only these two options, right? Is there any third option, or is that all we can do?
Arjun, there is a poll which has come. The students can do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So students, you can click the best option. The question is, some imagination or the other is going on you at this moment. Whether you strongly agree, neither agree, or disagree. So you can put the option, some imagination or the other is going on you at this moment.
This poll, I think, is not.
No, there is no poll is there. It's just.
Parishit Bhaiya, I didn't hear what.
No poll is there. It's just only pause and think symbol is there. Ji.
Okay.
Okay, so that poll is,
You
I
can
think, for
continue.
another session. So we
Ji.
won't do it right now.
Ji.
Okay, so about the solving the problem, if you say that you don't know how to solve the problem, then the only other option is to accept it, and then, you know, once you accept it, then you don't feel unhappy about it also, because you accept that, you know, that's how it is, that's the way it is, and then since you can't do anything about it, you leave it the way it is. That's it, right? If you can, obviously, then you make a lot of efforts to fix and solve the problems. Something may be in your ability, something may not be in your ability. So then what you're not able to do, there's no point of becoming unhappy about what you're not able to do, right? If you're not able to fix something and you know that you're not able to fix it, then you can, you know, accept it as the way it is and move on with other things. In that way, it won't affect your happiness, is what we're saying. So over here, we just want to recap and say that how would you like to plan your life? Would you start with your work, start with putting in efforts to become something, and then to do something, and then to get something in order to be happy? Or would you make effort for clarity about your basic aspiration first? Like, what is happiness? What is prosperity? What do I actually want? Would you make effort for that first and then choose a pathway which helps you to get there? So this 3 to 1 can be clubbed into one bracket and 4 can be clubbed into a different bracket. Those 3 to 1 are like means or pathways to reach the goal. And 4 is like what you want to eventually be. You want to be happy. So our question is that which way would you plan your life? Would you go in this 1, 2, 3, 4 order, or would you go in the 4, 3, 2, 1 order? Which one makes more sense in terms of helping you to get to your basic aspiration? So in the chat, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4 or 4, 3, 2, 1. Which one would you feel is a good way to help you to get to your basic aspiration?
Yeah, I think it's 4, 3, 2, 1 is the right one.
Okay. And the next thing is, how are you going about it right now?
Excuse me, sir.
The next question is that how are you going about it right now? Like if 4, 3, 2, 1 is the way that looks like it helps you to reach the basic aspiration.
Yes.
Then are we doing it that way right now, or are we doing it in the opposite order right now?
I think 4, 3, 2, 1 is the best way to fulfill our basic aspiration and to plan our life.
Okay. Yeah. So this is left open for discussion. Like you can think about it and see.
Okay.
You can, all these conclusions can be made for yourself, because we don't want to say that this is the right way, that's the wrong way kind of thing, because it's always something which we can just explore for ourselves and see. And obviously, if we want to be happy, then we can backtrack and see I mean, like we can just say that, okay, we want to be happy. How can we be happy? Doing something in this world, what can we do? How would we do it? All that kind of questions would follow. Rather than saying that, okay, I have to be an engineer, and now I have to do this, and then I have to do this. And then finally, I'm assuming that I'll be happy after all this, which may or may not happen. So if you go in the 1, 2, 3, 4 order, then you're not even sure if you're going to be happy and prosperous or not. You might be, you might not be, right? But if you go in this 4, 3, 2, 1 order, if you go in this 4, 3, 4 first and then 3, 2, 1 together, then it becomes like you are making effort to be happy. You are making all your efforts with the goal of being happy. It's not that happiness will come as a byproduct of something. Like right now, our assumption is largely that we want to become an engineer so that we do something and we earn some money, and we expect that the byproduct of all that would be happiness.
Of course, we accept it, but we don't sure that we get happiness as the byproduct.
Yeah. So that's what we're saying, that we have that strong assumption that it will lead to that happiness, right? We have the assumption that once we become an engineer, once we earn money, once we get all this from this kind of stuff, then we'll be happy. And that assumption is very strong because in the society, it's drilled down a lot, right? That once you have money, you can be happy. Once you have respect from others, then you feel good about yourself. Once you have something which people look up to, then you feel like you are on top of everything. So like that, there are so many assumptions in the society which make you feel like this is the way to go. Whereas when you think for yourself, without any influence from anywhere, when you just think for yourself, then if you look at why you want to do all this after all, then you realize that it's for happiness. And then you see that if you want to be happy, there could be various ways of being happy. And maybe this pathway leads to it, maybe this doesn't. We're not sure. We're keeping it open. We're not concluding that, this is the only path or this is not the path or anything like that. We're just saying that just think about whether you want to start from 4 or whether you want to start from 1. Which one makes more sense? And in the chat now, a lot of people have written that 4, 3, 2, 1 seems like that something that makes sense for the way that you can go about it. And maybe you might realize right now that all our life we are tending to go from this 1, 2, 3, thinking that we'll get 4. But does it really happen that way? Like, for example, all of you have finished 10th and 12th, right? So when you're writing your board exam, then you have this thing that, once you finish your board exam, everything will be much easier. Everything will be much better. I'll be happy. And then once you finish your board exam, you have some holidays for 2 months or something. And in that time, you enjoy a lot and all that. And then again, when you go to 11th, you feel like, okay, again, you're back to school, right? And then when you finish 11th and 12th is coming, then you prepare for the board exam. And then when you're preparing for the board exam, you think that once the board exam is over, I'll get a college, and in college life is all chill and all that. So it's all easier and I'll be happy. So what we're doing in this method is trying to postpone our happiness to the next step. We're thinking that once I get this one thing, this milestone is crossed, then I'll be happy. Then the next milestone is crossed, then I'll be happy. Then once you finish 12th, then you feel like, okay, now college, now I have to prepare for entrance exams. So that becomes a lot of effort. And then fine, that effort is going on. Once that effort is over and you got your seat in your engineering college, then you feel that, okay, now everything is good because I got a college. Now I don't have to worry for 4 years. Now everything is set. I can be happy. But then can you see that, all these milestones are making you just postpone your happiness. You're thinking that you'll get it after you reach there, right? Once you finish your college, then in your 3rd year itself or 4th year, you start preparing for job interviews. And then you think that if you get a high paying job, then you'll be happy. And once you get your high paying job, then your next thing is that you're supposed to get a promotion, right? and so on. And then you're supposed to have a marriage, and you're supposed to have kids, and all these are different kinds of milestones, right? It's just something where we're thinking that as life becomes more and more complete, we'll be more and more happy. That's the assumption, that as we finish all these things, we'll be more and more happy. But if you look at it that way, then you never finish everything, right? There's always something which is ahead. There's always something which will come later. Like right now you're in college, the job will come later. For people who are in 50s or 60s, their retirement, they might be looking forward to their retirement. They might be looking forward to their children coming home for vacation or stuff like that, right? So if you keep postponing it to a further point, to a later point, then you don't really get anywhere. You're just going into a routine, and you might not be enjoying also what you're doing, right? So when we look at it the other way, the 4-3-2-1 style, then we are making our effort towards being happy and being prosperous. And then according to that, we're planning our whole life. Rather than going in this milestones kind of fashion, we're going in the way that would ensure our basic aspiration first, and then look at what the pathway would be. So this is the summary of this discussion, I think. So for next time, we'll have more detail about what comes next. Once we feel that, if our happiness is our basic aspiration, then what is happiness, and how do we get there? What exactly is it? Is it different for different people, or is it the same? We'll talk about all that stuff. So it's a very important kind of discussion. So it'll be good if you join for that one.
Nice, very nice, Arjun.
Okay, now we'll close, I think.
Yes, it's good that even the students are trying to look into it and explore about it and think about it. Nice discussion. So I think we'll thank all our younger co-explorers who are also putting in an effort to understand these right way of going about doing things. That's very nice. Thank you, Arjun, for such a wonderful explorative way of interacting with the students. And thank you, dear students. Without you, the discussion won't be so rich. Nice. So as Arjun Bhaiya said, that let's look into this aspect and we'll talk about it coming Wednesday. So just unmute and be free, This platform and this follow-up session is all for you. Nice. Thank you and good night. We'll meet again.
And
please go ahead.
One homework which you can do, obviously optional homework, is that you can think about what makes you happy and think about like what happiness means to you. Like what is your definition of happiness? You can just think about it. You don't have to write it anywhere, or you can just think about it and see. And obviously it's optional homework. You don't have to do it. It's just something to think about.
Nice. That's nice. That'll be interesting to, just listen to what is the definition of happiness for each one. Nice.
Yeah. We can discuss it next time.
Gee, wonderful. Good night to all our younger co-explorers, and thank you, Arjun. And we'll meet again coming Wednesday. With this, we'll call it a day. So thank you. And Bhaiya, I think you can close
Namaste, everybody.
now. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.